In this video, we're going to look at index laws, and these are mostly on the higher here. Okay, so previous knowledge required for this is powers and indices with laws, squares, cubes, and their roots, and the reciprocal of a number. Okay, so we did look at index laws back on N18, so I recommend go watch that. But they very quickly were, if you're multiplying indices, you add them. If you divide indices, you subtract them. And if it's like this, you multiply them. Okay, so let's look at what we need. We need a squares and a square root, and it's important to know them. Squares and square roots, and their cube and cube roots. Then you would need to know them off by heart for this. Okay, index laws, look at this one, to the power of 0. Well, 6 divided by 6 is 1. 6 to the power of 4 divided by 6 to the power of 3. I subtract the indices is 6 to the power of 1. And 6 to the power of 4 divided by 6 to the power of 4. So anything divided by itself gives me 1. This here also gives me 1. Now what this shows me is that I put indices in here, that if I subtract these, so 1 take away 1 is 0, that gives me 1. 4 take away 4 is 0, that also gives me 1. Anything to the power of 0 will give me an answer of 1. And that's an important fact to know. Okay, so let's look at, I've got some fractions here, and I'm going to either square them, cube them, or square root them. Hence there's a 2 there, or cube root them. And you do this like the following. Just square the top, square the bottom, and that's it, finished. Square the top, square the bottom, cube the top, cube the bottom. Square root the top, square root the bottom, or cube root the top, and cube root the bottom. And there's what you need for them. That one's quite straightforward. Right. Anywhere where there's a minus, what you do is you get the reciprocal of this number to get rid of the minus. And the reciprocal of 6 is 1 over 6. So it's 1 over 6, and then the minus disappears and it's to the power of 1. Now, of course, to the power of 1 doesn't change it. Get the reciprocal of this to the power of 1. So, of course, just that. Get the reciprocal of this to the power of 3. Now I'm going to cube this one. 3 times 3 times 3. And 4 times 4 times 4. And that would give me 27 over 64. So when there's a minus, you're going to have to do some work with the reciprocals. Okay, same idea. Reciprocal is 1/3, and that squares is 1 over 9, 1 squared and 3 squared. 1 over 5 to the power of 3, cube 1 and cube 5 is 125. Okay, now when I have a fraction as my index, the denominator comes down and goes in front of the square root. My numerator stays there. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 to the power of 1 is 3. Denominator comes down. Numerator stays there. Cube root of 27 is 3. 3 squared is 9. And then if I have negatives, so I'll have to do this. I'll have to go get rid of the negatives. So get the reciprocal of 9. That gets rid of the negative, but the half remains. That's going to be denominator in front of the square root and the numerator there. Put that bracket in. So square root this. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 9 is 3. And to the power of 1, of course, doesn't change, so it's 1 over 3. Get rid of the minus. Cube root comes down. Squared goes there. Cube root of 1 is 1. Cube root of 27 is 3. And then I'm going to square that. Square the top, square the bottom, and you've got your numbers. Okay, here are some questions. Have a go. Press pause. The answers will appear in a moment. There are your answers.